Good evening, students. Welcome to the second session of the chapter. So let us start. Any questions you have, please put in the chat box. I'm just sent in exam. We were on chapter 3, information system and its components. Now, today's major discussion we shall be having from the module itself. A lot of detailed tables are given in the module. So let us continue where we left yesterday. So we talked about information system, information components, and controls also we started. This is information system components, input, process, output, storage, and feedback. Then components of information system, people, hardware, software, data, network, and communications. So this is diagrammatically. Then we were on controls. So you classify controls based on the objective, based on nature of information system resource. The controls can be also classified based on audit function. So today we shall be talking more on the nature of EIS or EIS resource and the audit functions. So we have talked about preventive, detective, and corrective. We talked about environmental. Now today we want to start with the physical access control. So yesterday we talked about environmental controls. Let us start with environmental. 4 parts we talked about: fire, electrical, water, pollution, damage, and others. To make it easy to have a recall to help you remember, see, please understand, any risk you see, multiply it by PDC. Preventive control, detective control, and corrective control. So whatever risk you see, try to put this PDC against it: preventive, detective, and corrective. So fire, preventive control; fire, detective control; fire, corrective control. Same you do for electrical issues, same you do for water issues and pollution and other issues. So we went through the tables of all this yesterday. Okay, Rafiq Bhai Menon, I got the cache memory query. I'll explain. We are through. Now we are on physical access controls. So we'll take the table from the module. Give me a second to bring the module. Physical access control. Quite detailed discussion is there. So we'll take help from the module. Lot of key words are there. Now this topic, there are some technical words. So you'll have to make effort to remember those technical words. But once we understand, once we explain, you'll be through it. So nothing beyond that. Okay, let us continue. I'm bringing the module. Just give me a second. Yeah. So we are on the module. Good evening to all those who are here. So I'm just, yeah. So physical access control. Now the name is indicative that the control that we are going to put in place is going to check the, will be ensuring physical security of the resource. So first is the lock on doors. Now what I basically want, I'll be reading the controls. Okay. What you do on the chat box, you answer the nature of control. Nature of control means whether this control is I'll request you to answer that whether this is preventive, detective, or corrective. Okay. Now, so first is lock on door. So you can say lock on door is by name, intent, content, preventive, detective, or corrective. So you say lock on door PDC. So I'll get the answer. Next. So you can put a lock on door. The locks can be cipher locks, are used in low security situation, and when many entrances exist, must be usable all the time. To enter a secured room, a person presses a 4-digit number, door unlocks. So they go to now general hotels, 3-star and above, or hotels, they don't give a room key, they give a card key. So you touch that card key at the gate of the room, so it opens for you. So that becomes like an electronic door lock. So what you are answering, lock on door is preventive, detective, or. So first was lock on door. We are reading physical access control. Next is identification medium. So what you can do, you can create a mechanism where the person who is entering, he or she has to identify himself at that gate. So that can be done through PIN number, personal identification number, a secret number assigned to each individual in conjunction with some means of identifying the individual. It serves as verifying the authenticity of the individual. The visitor will be asked to log on by inserting a card in some device and then enter his or her PIN number. In fact, you go to many companies, they've got that biometric thumb impression identification and an employee code. So that becomes a identification. Then plastic cards, these cards can be used for identification purposes. So you have the card with your photo and all those things that can be created like identification badges. Then logging on facilities. Logging means listing who all came. Okay. This are as under manual logging and electronic logging. So manual logging, all visitors should be prepared to sign a visitor's log indicating their name, date, time of visit, company represented, their purpose of visit, and the person they intend to visit. Logging may happen both at front reception and at the end. Your photo IDs, driving license can be used to allow you to enter the company. The same can be done through electronic process. This feature is combination of electronic and biometric security system. So users logging can be monitored, and if a login attempt fails, so alarm can be triggered to see where the login attempt has failed. Then other means of controlling physical access. Now in other means, each you will have to say whether it is preventive, detective, or corrective. You have answered 2. This is the third one. Video camera. We have talked about video camera. Should be placed at specific locations, and the screen has to be monitored by guards, then security guard themselves, then controlled visitor access. Now, how does it work? Let me share this practice. What happens when you go to, suppose you're going to a company to meet a person for, say, a business visit. So at the security gate, the guard creates your data entry in the register, visitor register, and gives you a visitor card, and the guard goes along with you to the person who you intend to meet. See, this is a win-win for all, because guard is going along with you, you feel it is a good reception. First. Second, for the company, it is security, because it ensures that you meet the person whom you want to meet, you don't roam about. This is so win-win for all people. Scenario, there's some fundamental change that has occurred, we must share that. Now many companies, when you go to meet, so you need not go inside the company, there's a conference room or a sitting location at the reception itself. The person will take your details, make a phone call to the person who is inside, to whom you come to meet. That person will come outside and meet in the conference room. So this idea about you entering the premise is killed down. That is controlled visitor access. Then bonded person. Bonded person means whoever is working, he or she may be your regular staff, he or she may be a contract staff. You enter a bond with that. You suppose you are an employee, you suppose you are a vendor, both are responsible for the security of the assets you are using. So if any loss to any asset comes, then you need to ensure that that loss is made good. That is bonded personnel. Dead man door and man trap. These are specific pair of doors. They are found at entry of, say, computer room. So it's like a combination door, A and B. Suppose you're entering from door A. So the door A opens, you come inside. Now, unless you close door A, the door B will not open. And the space between the two doors is only sufficient for one person to enter. So it ensures single entry. It ensures that no one misuses that entry gate. That is dead man door or man trap. So you are answering, sorry. Now, manual logging and electronic logging. You are answering whether they are preventive, detective, corrective. Video camera, you are answering. Security guard, you are answering. And control visitor access. So these 5 you are answering, preventive, detective, or corrective. Once I am through, I'll come back to your answers. Okay. Once we complete this logical access. Physical. Then non-exposure of sensitive facility. Yes, it is very important. Your sensitive facilities need to be kept secured. You must not advertise them. Okay, so this is my server room. So at the top of the building, you write this is server room building. So if a enemy has to drop a bomb, it drops on the top of the building. Never do it. Then computer terminal log. It is very, very important. So there is a key that if you insert the key, then only you can put on your desktop. So it ensures that the right person uses the right system. Then control single entry point, where to ensure that there is no misuse of that entry point. Alarm systems, we have talked about this. We talked about water alarm, fire alarm. Then perimeter fencing, boundary across your physical boundary across your working location. Control of out of hours of employee and employees. This is very, very important. Companies have secured system, biometric enabled system that ensures comes in, everything is documented there. And last is very, very, very important. See what happens when you go in big companies. So you find 20 laptops, 30 desktop, a set of 50 computers, but you don't find a set of 50 printers. You may find 2 or 3 printers. That means what it means that all people are giving printout on a single printer. The risk is that a printout given by Mr. A, which must only be made available to Mr. A, is read mistakenly by Mr. B, and Mr. B also is an employee, but all people are kept in secured card. So automatically they go, or physically there is an employee at the printer location. He or she picks the printout generated, staples, closes them in envelopes, keeps them in secured card. And the key of that card is available with the person who has given the printout. So it ensures that the right person gets the right printout. The printout is not made available to people who don't need it. So if you are giving it to people who don't need it, there is a chance of misuse. That is logical access control. So one part we have completed. Let us go through your answers. Yeah, I'll explain, Rafi. Every one of you have answered preventive. Hitesh, preventive. Video camera, detective. Good. So most of you have answered correctly. Security guard, preventive. Video camera, detective. Control visitor access, preventive. Okay. The intent is preventive. The works like preventive. Great. So that is first. Let us go to the next part, logical access control. So I'm taking it together because the whole topic is from the module. So I'm not going to the slide back, completing it here itself. Now, next is logical access control. What these controls are about. These are controls relating to logical access to boundary controls, networking controls access to database objects, encryption controls. Logical access controls are implemented to ensure that access to system data program is restricted to only authorized users to safeguard information against unauthorized use, disclosure or modification, damage or loss. So basically, the logical component like operating system, application program, networks, controls are placed on these so that no one can misuse or access these. So these controls are called as logical access control. Now, and this topic is absolutely important, not only for this chapter, for whole syllabus, all the 5 chapters, and once you become chartered accountants, this is one of the service you can do day one. I'll share many examples on this. Okay. User access management. Now, user access management is what a user he, she can do. Okay. So I'll be asking question. Before I go here, I'll ask question. A cashier, he creates a voucher. A cashier creates a cash voucher. My question is, can a cashier who creates a cash voucher rights to modify cash voucher? A cashier is a creator of cash voucher. Can we give right to a cashier to modify cash voucher? You say yes or no. Okay. So the next question you are answering is, can cashier modify vouchers? So first you have to say yes, no. Cashier, you say cashier, yes, no. Modify, yes, no. Then next, the accountant, who is going to create, who is going to generate, say, general vouchers, who is going to create other vouchers, book other vouchers. Can the accountant be given a right? Can accountant be given right to create ledgers? That is. So 2 questions you are answering. Cashier, can he, she modify vouchers? Say yes, no. Accountant, can he, she create ledgers? Now, let us continue. Based on our answers, we'll continue the discussion. Okay. So user access management, this involves the administration within a system for giving individual users the access to tools they require at the right time. The important factor that involves following is user registration. Who is going to be the user? So you can say know KYU, that is know your user. Remember the word. Huh? We all have read KYC, know your customer. This is KYU, know your user. What is his or her rights? What he or she will be permitted? What he, she can do? What he, she can do? That is based on the user whom you are going to register. So first, register the user, know your user. Information about the user. Who is the user? Why is he here? What access will be provided? Then a word is there in the paragraph. I am highlighting the word. Just carry this word. This is going to come again. The concept of data owner. So basically, data owner is a definition which says that data owner is the person who creates data. The creator of data is data owner. So whatever action that can have to be defined by whom? Data owner. So data owner is who owns data. Whatever action can be done on a data is defined by data owner. That is why it is written. It has to be approved by data owner approves the access. So if I create data, what another user can do on data, the approval has to come from me because I become data owner of that data. Okay. So that is one. Last line of the para is most important. Deregistration. Employee leaves the organization. So you have to disable the password, disable the access right and deregister. Why deregister, disable? So that there is no chance of misuse in the future. This word is very important. Please highlight this word. Deregistration. So we have read the first details of the person who is going to use the system. Then next is Privilege management. Now, privilege management is what a person, he, she can do, what he, she cannot do. That is privilege management. This relates to their job responsibility. Now, because, okay, I'll look to your answers after I go through this table. Then user password management. Okay. Passwords are usually the default screening point for access system, applications, storage, revocations, reissue. Educating users in critical component about password and making them responsible. So what you tell to the user, please don't share password, don't make easy password, don't make passwords common for all email, Gmail you are going to access. I'm trying to still list down how many passwords I have to use. And I find that the list is still going on. I have already gone 40. So 40 passwords to use daily. That means 40 passwords to remember. So, I have got an easy solution. You know what is the easy solution? I create one password that is common to all. So I need not remember 40. I need to remember one. It's a huge risk. So you need to educate users how to create password, how to keep secrecy of password, don't share password, the criticality of password. That is part of user password management. And the combination of the password, whether it is the users management, password management concept. And review of user rights. Yes, very, very, very important. I told you this topic is very important. In this chapter, in this module, this paper, CA Inter, CA Final, and as Chartered Accountant in practice. Take my word, review of you. The day you become Chartered Accountant, one assignment that you will all be capable of doing is this: review of user access right. What a person can do, what he, she cannot do, what he, she must not do. A user needs for accessing information changes with time. So because see what happens, suppose you are joining a company as a junior accountant, you become senior accountant, then you become manager accountant, then you become, your job profile changes, so does your rights changes. Okay, so let me ask this question. Job profile and rights. Job profile and rights. Who is born first? Job profile and user right. Who is born first? So you have to say job profile is born first or user right is born first. Based on this, we'll discuss. Let us go to your answers for the previous question. No. Cashier who has created a voucher, he, she must not. No right to modify. Maker cannot be checker. That is against the concept of internal control. So he must not create or modify the vouchers. The first answer is no. Second. Okay. Then second answer. Accountant create ledger. Yes. So for this, you could have yes and no. I'll accept both. Because see, when you allow an accountant to create ledger, so when a new ledger is created now in system, it has to be properly documented. Have know your user, you need to have a concept of know your vendor. So KYV. So when you create, it has become very, very important. Please understand this idea about creating ledgers. Today, even in Tally, the simplest of the accounting software, if you want to create a vendor ledger, you must have some very specific details of the vendor. Name of the vendor, correct address of the vendor, the GST registration of the vendor, the PAN copy of the vendor, and then you create a vendor. Because if you don't create a vendor properly, then lot of non-compliances generate. Within GST, goods and service tax, you have the concept of compounding, you have the concept of regular vendor, you have the concept of exempted vendor, you have the concept of SEZ vendor. So all this documentation has to be done. So to the an answer with that whatever the accountant creates, that must be properly done. Okay, so that was one. Then to the last question, job profile is born first. That does my job. That tells me that you realize exactly how things are. So first you create a job profile, then you create a user right. Now this brings us to the last part of the table, the review. So if the job profile changes, what has to change? The user rights have to change. So once this changes, to change the user rights. Very, very, very important. Great. User access management. Next is user responsibility. Now, once user has been created, passwords have been given, then the responsibility is on user. Usage of password, strong password I have shared with example. Then yes, you must not have unattended equipments. Unattended equipments means you must not leave equipment open with your passwords, because if you leave equipment open, 20 systems are there and 20 users are there, and you may not know. A third party vendor may be coming. There may be chance of use or miss. Very much aware about this. Unattended user equipment. Now, but then there are situations where equipment may remain unattended. There is a chance. I want you to give me solution. We need to be a thinking batch. Okay, unattended user equipment may be there. You must not leave it. But there is always a chance that you may have to go for nature's call, log out, miss it. There has to be a way of coming above this. How to create a control on when you have to leave unattended user equipment. What can be the control? Okay. What can be control if so I'm expecting answers. So we have read first user access management, second user responsibility. Now third is network access control. So our topic heading is we are basically part of logical access. So these are the ideas here that you need to work on. Now see, this again is a very big topic. In fact, the issue that let me do it with a very practical example. See, Wi-Fi. Okay. Now, which Wi-Fi to use? Okay. So, technical support, I want to change the broadband. We can, which Wi-Fi to use? So, you must use secured Wi-Fi only. You must use Wi-Fi that you know about, which is secured. So, always use your own Wi-Fi. Never use open Wi-Fi, which are freely available, because you don't know the security parameters. Haji. Okay, so back. So I've changed the Wi-Fi. So which Wi-Fi to use? So you must use only secured system. That is okay. Let us see. So network access control, policy on use of network services. Which network services you are going to use? Enforced path is the way you are going to travel. So not for you as an individual, for the data, for the internet access, how you are going to use it. So everything has to be very well defined. And see, this all hackers and ransomware attack and all these attacks that you see, you read about daily, these are the core of these attacks is that this network controls have not been properly put in place. That is very, very critical. Then segregation of network, secured network, critical network to be segregated from non-critical network, network connection and routing control, how you are going to travel through the network, security itself of network services, and last is very, very, very important, firewall. Remember this word. Firewall is a mechanism to secure your company's intranet. So from whichever system, whichever location you access the external internet, that location you install a firewall. It can be both hardware, software based. This firewall ensures security of your network. This ensures that no unauthorized person can enter into your system. Very, very, very important. Then next you can have encryption, network encryption. Yes. So what you can do, whatever data you send in encrypted form. So that also ensures security. And the last line is important. Please carry it. Two general approaches, private key and public key encryption. That is part of Information Technology Act. Information Technology Act talks about public key encryption system or asymmetric crypto system. Your digital signatures that you all must be hearing about, they work on public key crypto system or asymmetric crypto system. Okay. Then next, last from network access is callback devices. So what we are basically reading, we are reading the techniques you can employ as an organization to secure your networks. The next is callback devices. So how does it work? That suppose I want to send some data to my head office, to my company. So from my location, I make a call to a secured number. That number identifies me as a user. Once I am identified as a user, the connection is cut and the company system calls me. That is call back the user. So that is called as callback device. The core purpose is to ensure that the data or the person who is connecting to system is the identified person and the security of system and network is ensured. I'll just read two lines from this. It is based on the principle that the key to network security is to keep intruder off the intranet rather than imposing security measures. So by calling back, what I first done, established the identity of the caller. So the intruder issue is killed. So when I establish that the caller is genuine, no intruder is there, then I'll call back and ask him or her to transfer data. That is network controls. Next is operating system controls. Operating system control, again, very, very, very important. They work at OS level. We have seen the functionality of what operating system can do. So this control ensures that no one is able to hack into my operating system, reduce the functionality of the operating system, or reduce the performance of the operating system. OS, we know, is a computer program that allows users, their application, to share, access common computer resource such as processor, main memory, database, and printer. The main task of operating system are job scheduling, managing hardware, software, maintaining system security, enabling multiple user resource sharing, handling interrupts. Now, interrupts are a way you are processing the instructions. So interrupts. And maintaining usage records. Operating system security involves policy, procedure, control that determine who can access the operating system, which resource they can access, and what action they can do. Very good. Who, which, what. Who can access which resource and what they can do on that resource. Very, very. We took that example. It's an application program, but the tally example, cashier. Cashier can create cash voucher, but cashier cannot modify cash voucher. Exactly. Then automated terminal identification, very important. From which location the system is being accessed. Like our mobiles have IME number. You know what your systems have? Anyone who can comment on what number systems are identified by. Like your mobiles are identified by IME number. Your systems will be identified by what number? Please answer that. So companies, in fact, I want to share this more practically. One of the companies we went, so what the company had done, it had systems for all the employees, laptops. Suppose there's a laptop that is with me. So when I access the company database, when I'm accessing through my laptop, then I can create file. Listen to this. When I'm accessing company data through my laptop, I can create file. But if I can access, suppose my laptop is not working, I can access company data from my friend's lab or my colleague's laptop. When I log in through my colleague's laptop, I can log in, but I cannot create a file. I cannot modify a file. That is, so terminal identification, from which location system is being accessed. You have given answer, I'll review. Then terminal log on procedure. A login procedure is the first line of defense against unauthorized access, as it does not provide unnecessary help or information which could be misused by intruder. When a user initiates a logon process by entering password, the system compares the password in system and then authorizes the login. In fact, now technology has evolved. Companies, means public sector bank, private sector bank, big corporates, all have implemented that concept of one-time password, OTP. It is delivered on your mobile. You log in to ensure that you are the right person. In fact, I have seen people access token, access control list. Very, very, very important. Remember them. If a login attempt is successful, the operating system creates an access token. What does this mean? A person who is accessing system, so what action he or she is going to take is listed on that. So you carry the token, so whatever resources you access, it is marked on the token. Access control list is basically do's and don'ts, what you can do, what you cannot do. Then discretionary access control, very important. The system admin usually determines who is granted access to specific resource and maintains a list of that. However, in distributed system, distributed means wide usage, resource may be controlled by end user. So resource owner in the setting may be granted discretionary access control, which allows them to grant access privileges to other users. The best example is seen in case of bank. Suppose the bank manager is, branch manager is going on leave. So the evening, suppose the branch manager is going to leave out from tomorrow morning. So today evening, you know what branch manager does? He provides the branch manager access to the next highest official in the bank. There is a register in the bank that they call as the password register. In that password register, branch manager mentions that today 6 p.m. in the evening, Mr. B, the loan officer, has been granted access because I am going on leave from tomorrow. So that is discretionary access control. Because see, consider State Bank of India, it has 35,000 branches. Probably each branch is going to have on an average, say 4 computers. So you are talking of 1,40,000 laptop desktops. So you cannot do it without system. So here the access control is given to the user through use of system only. Then user identification authentication. When the user is accessing system, he must be identified in foolproof manner. So I am asking you a question. Next question. So once we complete this table, I'll get to the answers of the previous question. I am on user identification authentication, 2 options, password, biometric. Password, biometric, which is better? So you have to say password is better or biometric is better for user identification authentication. Okay. Next, password management system. When you type password, does the system display password? No, it displays dots or asterisks. That is because you have a password management system that keeps passwords in encrypted form. Because if the passwords are not in encrypted form, if any person is able to hack into your system, that individual will gain access to all the passwords that are there in your system. Password management system. Use of system utilities. Utilities are programs that help to manage critical functions of the OS. that is addition or deletion of users. Obviously, this utility should not be accessible to all person, only to authorized users. So this becomes second aspect that need to be computerized into your computer, this system, to ensure that the identification is done properly. Then password management system can be implemented by this operating system also. System utilities are programs that help to manage critical functions of a operating system. System utilities are programs which help manage critical functions of a operating system. Okay. Then next is Duress alarm to safeguard users. If users are forced to execute some instructions under threat, yes, I learned this. Let us do it. Let me ask you a question. We'll come back to this again. Okay. Suppose my laptop hangs. Laptop hangs. How do I come out of the hang? So you are answering this question. My laptop hangs. How do I come out of this hang? And then you answer, I'll come back to this again. Then terminal timeout. After specified time, you log out, and you have all answered that correctly, that unattended system left out. So you need to create a, what you may call as a screensaver password. So other is you can have a logout time and limitation on connection time. Like big corporates, they have restriction that an employee, he or she can only come from 10 a.m. till 6 p.m. If the employee wants to come for larger time, bigger time, then he or she has to take permission. In fact, COVID has revolutionized the whole working. WFH, work from home. Companies are finding it difficult to motivate employees to work from office because the comfort of work from home is so phenomenally different from work from office. So there are parameters that are there. So it's all changed now. Okay. Yeah. So good. So MAC address. So the first answer was from Hiral, MAC address. Then Sunika said correctly. Callback, I'll explain. Hiral, I explain callback. Yeah. Biometric is better. Why? Because it creates a better user identification. Good. Now I'm explaining callback. So please understand. See, what is the idea? The idea is that the correct person must be sending data to system. The correct person must be able to log into system. So for that, before data is sent, we must be able to identify the sender. So in callback mechanism, what happens? It's there. The callback device requires user to connect and enter a password. So once you connect and enter a password, your identity is established. Once your identity is established, that means genuineness of user is created. Once genuineness is created, the system callbacks the user. Okay, I am calling you back. Now you transfer data. That is exactly what is callback device. It saves you from unauthorized intrusion in system. Okay. This way gone through. Then did I have any more query? Nothing. Good. Okay. Next is application and monitoring of system access controls. Now, we have already talked about that lot of applications we are all using. So applications are most common assets that access information. Users invoke the program or modules of application to access, process, communicate information. Hence, it is necessary to control the accesses to applications. Some of the controls are followed. So like we have talked about tally. So cashier can create voucher, she cannot modify voucher. So to this, restrictions are application level restriction. Okay. Yeah, Hiral, I have explained callback device. Okay. Did you miss it out? I explained it. Callback devices where the user, me, when I call the system, so system identifies me and calls me back asking me to transfer. Calling the user back is basically the concept of callback devices. Yeah. Okay. So biometric is best. All of you have answered correctly. So given an option of password and biometric, biometric is best. That is why this, I think, many of our competitive exams on all India's basis are now having a biometric identification. Our Aadhars are biometric like that. Okay. So we are on fifth part of the logical access, that is application and monitoring of system access control. So many applications control on those applications. Information access restriction. The access to information is prevented by application specific menu interface, which limit access to system function. A user can access only those items where she or he is authorized to access. Perfect. So cashier, because he can create voucher, he has access only to voucher. So other menu option don't open. That ensures that the person doesn't enter into system like that. Okay. You have answered my question about the laptop Duress alarm. So I'll come back to it. Don't worry. Yeah. Then sensitive in system logging isolation. We have talked about that. Event logging, what has happened, and monitoring of system use, how the system has been used. Next is clock synchronization. This is very, very, very important. Event logs maintained across enterprise network plays a significant role in correlating an event and generating report. Hence, the need for synchronizing clock time across network as per standard time is mandatory. Please understand, a company like Tata, Infosys, these are Indian MNCs. They have they've got office people working in Japan and they have people working in US. So it's 24-hour time frame. They have people working. So this clock synchronization, because when it's morning, 6 a.m. in morning in Japan, it will be say 12 in night in US somewhere. So this is very important. The day, how you keep a track of day, that is clock synchronization. Now, because we are going to control on mobile, I'm going to check your answers. So biometric is better. That is correct. Good. Sonika has tried by restarting. Trouble is, see, when my laptop hangs, the battery is there. Even if I plug out the, say, charging point, battery is there. So it will remain there. And it actually happened with me when I started using the laptop 20 years, 25 years back for the first time. I did not know what to do. So I had to call my vendor what to do. Then he told me, सर लैपटॉप हैंग हो जाता है तो जो पावर का बटन है उसको 15 सेकंड दबाकर रखना. If laptop hangs, press the power button of the laptop for 15 seconds. That is indication of force shutdown. That I learned. That exactly is what you call as, let me bring it, duress alarm. Getting it? That is duress alarm. I think we did talk about it. The lift that you take daily up and down, there is an alarm button of the lift. By informing the security of the building, one day press the alarm button. What will happen? What are the chances of it going up or it going down? What are the chances of it blowing and not blowing? So you can give a percentage of chance of not blowing. Okay. So that is duress alarm. Very, very important. Then next is controls when we are mobile. So it is not control on mobile. Huh? In today's organization, computing facility is not restricted to certain data centers alone. Ease of access on move provides efficiency and result in additional responsibility on the management. Theft of data carried on disk drives, portable computers is a high risk factor. Both physical and logical access to these systems is critical. Information is to be encrypted and access definitions like fingerprint, iris scanner need to be created. So basically what it is saying that when the user is moving and he or she may be carrying data, so you need to have restrictions to ensure that the data is kept secure. That will require us to go to the slide. Just give me a second. So from here we started physical access control, then we went to logical access controls, this part. Now audit function. So because we are changing a topic, let us see if there is a query that is unanswered. Okay. Audit function. So now we all know audit. We have been talking about audit. You have been doing audit. Those who are going to take articleship, they are going to do audit. When you start articleship, few of you are already doing audit. Few of you are studying audit. So audit is basically checking. Let us go ahead. So now two definitions have been created in module. Audit per se from managerial aspect and audit per se from application aspect. Let us take them one by one. It's a very, very, very important discussion. Please understand. So from managerial controls, you have top management controls, system development management. I'll first define and then we'll have a detailed discussion on each of this. Okay. Programming management control, data resource management control, security management control, operations management control, QA, quality assurance management controls. Now, what we are basically looking at, that when an organization is created, when you are working in a large organization, you are using systems. So all these parameters have to be built from top to down. So top management has to plan it properly, deliver it, lead it properly. When you are developing system, so system development requires proper track of the development effort, how system is being developed, what are the parameters for developing system, how system is going to be tested. Then within system development, when the program is being developed, the software is being created. So control on the software aspect of the program. You're creating software, you are going to use data. So control on data. How you keep data secured. And next is basically security management control that is going to cover all the above aspects. So during development, during programming, during data creation, what security per se, by definition, we have been talking about physical, logical controls. Those are security. Then your program is developed, you start using operations management control, whether it is working properly or not. And once users start using it, they give a feedback on the quality of the program. So if you look to the whole topic, the whole concept, it is basically for a large organization using a big system at stages of usage of system, from the ideation of system till the usage of system, what control parameters need to be looked into. Okay, so let us take this one by one. Top management control. I want to take this from the module. Quite detailing is there in the module. Let us go to the module. So all these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 7. We are going to read from the module continuously. Lot of tabulation is there. I'll be reading few keywords for you and we'll be discussing. Please understand, this is one topic I told you, user management. The day you become chartered accountant, you can provide that service. This is that topic again. 7 topics here, 7 opportunities to you once you become chartered accountant. The day you become chartered accountant, these services you can provide. So please put your intensity into this. I know that you are at inter level, you will pass inter, then you will go to final level, pass final, then you become chartered accountant. But I am catching you young. I want you to understand that these are the services that a chartered accountant can provide beyond audit, taxation, and other traditional services that we all do. This is all that new service areas that are coming up. Okay, so let us go to the module. Here we are. So top management control. The controls are adopted by top management to ensure the information system functions correctly. They meet the strategic business objectives. Very good. The purpose for which they are created. This includes, now if you read this one, this comes from your paper 7B, strategic management. But because the system is being used, it's a large system, those parameters are relevant here also. That is the point. Yeah, Hiral. Event logging, I'll explain after we complete this one. I'll do, surely do. So planning, this includes determining the goal of the information system function, what it wants to achieve. Let us do a very practical exercise. Okay. So what you do, I'm giving you a question. Keep the question with your tag and then you answer from your understanding. I'll tell you what exactly is the question. You know, during COVID, this DLH, Digital Learning Hub, that was created for members training is a revolution. I don't know, but it has already clocked more hours in crores. Crores of man-hour training has been given to chartered accountant. Please understand, it is crores, and crores will be some multiplier of 5 crore, 10 crore, 15 crore. Training hours had been passed to members. Okay, that level Digital Learning Hub has been able to achieve. What we do, let us create a case study. Okay. Now this live video classes, LVC or video coaching class of the institute. Suppose institute, the board of the institute, the top council of the institute is imagining it. You start imagining that you are going to create a video coaching center, live video classes for CA students under the guidance of the Institute of Chartered Accountants Board of Studies. Okay. Now, what I want, you need to write one line for each of these parameters. You are, say, president of the institute. You are implementing that VCC. What parameters you will be looking for? Planning, organizing, leading, and controlling. Planning, organizing, leading, controlling. So imagine, start writing. Okay. This includes determining the goal. So when you write planning about video coaching class, you need to write the goal. Okay, what is the goal? The long-term purpose. And to achieve this goal, what the organization does, it creates something that is very important for system development. Please carry this word. Steering committee. It is a committee that carries the project ahead. Okay. So you are writing the planning idea, the purpose for VCC Institute. Simple lines. Planning this. Okay. Then organizing. There should be prescribed structure with documented roles and responsibilities. See, look, so well it is written. You plan, create a structure. Structure has to be documented. It cannot be verbatim. It cannot be oral. It has to be very well documented. Each person's roles and responsibility has to be clearly defined. So within, say, institutes, live video classes, you know what you can do? At organizing level, you can define the roles and responsibility of, say, board of studies. So what BOS is supposed to ensure? Agreed job descriptions to include gathering, allocating, coordinating resources. Okay. Then leading. This includes activity like motivating, guiding, communicating with the person. Fantastic. I'm making job easier for you. Huh? Our board of studies is be doing phenomenal job. In fact, you must be seeing that many of the faculties, the council members are taking special 10-15 minute session as a part of this live video classes to motivate you, to guide you that how to read, how to go about leading. So when this video coaching classes or live video classes will be implementing, what shall be the leadership purposes, leadership objectives that I want you to write. And controlling, ensuring that the performance is as desired. So I'll just refresh my chat to see if I have received answers. Slightly tough, but see, once you start answering this question, your understanding will, why I want you to put more time. I'm catching you young. Once you become chartered accountant, these are the specialized services We must all be able to give. That is. So what I want you to answer is video coaching classes, the I institute's idea behind it, the purpose objective, the board of studies organizing it, the council leading it, and institute monitoring it. So you must be able to write 2 words for each of them. Once you do it, you remember it like this. Nothing to read ahead again. Okay. Then, now because the system is being developed, you come to the next part. System development management control. Now the system is being developed. What is being developed? The live video classes. Please understand, I have created a storyboard on only on this one idea of live video classes. We'll go through all the topic. So that is the importance. So you can keep a link through that topic. Okay. So now the idea is created, ideation is done. We have agreed to have live video classes. Now we want to develop. I'll read only the headers, rest you will do on your own. Problem definition and feasibility assessment. So when you think about live video classes, what is the problem? What problem is being solved? That definition has to be written. What you want to do? You want to, this institute wants all students to have a standardized coaching mechanism. Institute wants all students to have a low fees coaching mechanism. Institute wants all students to have technology driven education. It could be anything. You can add from your own self. No need to respond to this one, but that is problem definition. So you create a problem. And feasibility. Feasibility means checking whether this project, this idea about live video classes is feasible or not. So what may be included in feasibility? The cost parameter, the legality of it, the economics of it, the technicality of it, the schedule of it, how your operational feasibility of it, how it is going to be used. All these parameters need to be put in place, put to feasibility study. Okay, so words you can remember. So see, we have made this topic very simple to remember now. So you have done the problem definition. Now what you do? See what is the existing system. So before institute launched the live video classes, did we have live video class? No. We did have classes at branch level which were being conducted for students, but it was like every branch creates its own parameter having those classes. So a lot of like quality gap, delivery gap, understanding gap. So analysis, what is the issues in the existing system? Analyze them. Okay. So you do the history analysis, you do the existing product analysis. Then once you have done that, you go to information processing system design. Now what you want from the new system. So read the first line, I'm highlighting it. So when you have live video classes, what is the detailed required? What you want? So first is it has to be online. Second is all students, say for example, it has to be free live. Third is all students, it has to be interactive. Okay, just see. So interactive. So how you are going to create a platform that is interactive? Then it must be interactive for all those who log in through system. It must be available live on YouTube also. Please understand. These are basically how I'm sharing how system has been created. Once you do that, then how the information will flow. Whether when I initially started, in fact, when we started, Elisa, it's a good point to talk about. Initially it was started with, I think, some centralized locations, say Delhi, Mumbai. So faculties had to be in Delhi and Mumbai, but then not all faculties can travel to Delhi, Mumbai. So what institute did, it created facilities at branch level. So initially when I started, I used to go to my local branch, see a branch to take this lecture. But then institute realized that branch is also creating a restriction, because then not all faculties, all good faculties from India are able to join in. So what they did, they allowed it to be done through your office, your home. That is work from home. Design information flow, how it is going to flow. Design the database, user interface. Fantastic. I'm not reading beyond it. Then physical design, how it will look like, what are the parameters to it. Design the hardware software platform. Once you design the hardware software platform, acquire. Once system is acquired, acceptances. Conversion. You had old system, now new system. Conversion. So that was the larger aspect. Within this, program management control is that one part where hardware software you read now. This part is detailing about the software. So planning of the software, which software you need, how it has to work. Like Institute is using at least two softwares. One through which I am delivering the lecture, other through which you are asking your queries. So software, everything is so well made. Design, how it is going to work. Sharing this, I have shared with the Institute that the time I ask question and the time you get answer, there is a 15-second time gap. मेरे सवाल पूछने में और आपके जवाब देने में 15 सेकंड का अंतर है, जो मुझे अच्छा लगता नहीं है. मैंने इंस्टीट्यूट से कहा इसको रियल टाइम कर दो, जैसे ही मैं प्रश्न पूछूं बच्चों को जवाब देते आना चाहिए. There is a time delay between me asking question and you responding. There is a 15-second delay. I want this to be made real time. Okay. Design. Okay. Based on this design, you code Alpha, Java, those program, Java language, Python, R. These are the languages in which codes are created. C, C++. So create a code. Once you create a code, test the program. Unit testing, one part of the program. Interface testing, integration testing, testing whether two programs are working properly or not. Whole program testing. So once you create, test the program. Then tested, implemented in the first that operational implementation. Then maintenance. 3 type of maintenance: repair, adaptive, and perfective. Okay. So I have a question. Of these 3, repair, adaptive, and perfective, there is one maintenance that may classify. See, you are maintaining system, you are updating system, okay. You are repairing some error. You are adaptive means, like for example, some changes have been brought, so you want to incorporate those changes. Repair is some error is there. Perfective is you are improving the performance, enhancing the performance. Of these 3, one may qualify as an addition to an existing asset as per accounting standard 10. Of these 3, one may qualify as an addition to an asset as per accounting standard 10. Give a thought to it. Ours is a king subject, believe me. Everything that you read has to come here and settle here. Okay. So operation and maintenance of the program that you have created. Then control the phases, how they are done. Everything is done. Now see, within control, few good words are there. Let me refer to them. You see this WBS, work breakdown structure, Gantt charts, PERT, CPM. These are project monitoring, how system is performing. Okay. You have created system, now maintain the data. Data resource management controls. What you need to see? Data is repository, all things are there. Definition of data, how you define data. Year has to have 4 digits. Why? Why? Because in the year 1999, prior to that, the computers had only 2 digits for year. So 99. And when date converts, it becomes 00. It just may take some time, but all your computers are based on a calculation that the computer's birth is on 01011900. In your computer, you can check कि उसका जन्म 1 जनवरी 1900 को हुआ है. सभी कंप्यूटर ऐसे बना रखे. So if it is working like this, if my year is YY, when 99 is changing the century to 2000, so 19999 will convert to 2000, but system will say 00. 00 will not be 2000, it will be 1900. So that is why 4 digits for year. That is definition control. Then we have talked about backups. Backups are mandatory, must do, must take. Who can access data? Control on data. The update. Proper update has to be there. Only one way of updating system has to be there. If more than one person is accessing, concurrency control has to be there, and quality control on data has to be there. Now we have controlled it, a major part of the discussion. Good. I'm so proud of you. You have made great effort. Hitesh, Raghavan, Prabhas, Himanshu, yes, and Prabhas again. Then Mukta. So you have tried to answer that very big question. Your answers are very big, but very good. I'm enjoying it. Okay. So update controls, concurrency, and quality control. Let us go to the next topic. Security management control. Now system is created, security has to be created. So when you talk of creating security in system, it includes disaster recovery plan and insurance. Okay. So let us learn by question. Disaster recovery plan is making entity ready in case of a disaster. Okay. Insurance we have talked about, transfer of risk. Now when you say disaster recovery plan, it has 4 plans as given: emergency plan, backup plan, recovery, and test plan. As a part of disaster recovery 4 plan, emergency plan, just keep the definitions ready. This is a good question in exam. Emergency plan, backup plan, recovery plan, and test plan. Must keep yourself ready. Okay. So keep the definitions ready with you. A good question for exam. Part of DRP. Insurance, we have talked about transferring your risk. Then operations management control. So I think we want to have a 10 minutes break. After that break, we'll start operations management control. Break time. Okay, so we'll come back from this very needed break. So we talked about uh, top management function, system development management function, program management controls, data security. Operation we want to start, but before I start, let me take some queries. One is from Hiral. Event logging. Okay, so see, Hiral, event logging is listing, means what has been done. Log is a list. Okay, so event log is list of events that have happened. That is event log. Okay. Then Prabhas had a good update, and nowadays they don't store plain text passwords on data. They don't. They store it in encrypted form. Good, Prabhas. That is good. To the question that I linked to the AS10, I somehow enjoy this linking. So I think our e-chocolate for this question has to go to Hiral. Yes, perfective maintenance. That is going to lead to the enhancement of performance of the asset. Great. Claps for that. Okay. And we have good. So let us continue. So we want to start operations management control. Let me bring the module. Just give me a second. So we are here, operations management control. Now, so we started with the idea of live video classes. So then the creation of the idea, then system development, building of the idea, then program management. So within that system development, programming of it, data resource management, security. Now coming to operations, that is day-to-day operations that you are going through, you are doing. So it includes computer operations, network operation, data preparation, preparation and entry, production control, file library, documentation, help desk, and capacity management, and outsource operations. So let us take this one by one. Computer operations is the operators who are working day in, day out on the system. The controls over computer operations govern the activities that directly support the day-to-day operations of the system. So once this LVC video conferencing classes or live video classes have been implemented, so computer, like we have a technical support, that supports the whole system. So that is part of the computer operation. Network operation, connectivity issue we face sometimes. I have to change the broadband, that is network operation. Data preparation and entry. So this lectures, this creating of the lectures, the PPT and the schedule, that is data preparation entry. Production control, that is basically at the factory level production control. It includes receipt dispatch of input and output for a manufacturing concern. So once you have implemented a system, you need to keep track of this. File library. This is documentation keeping. This includes management of not only machine readable data, but optical disk. So file library, now as things have evolved, so most of these you don't find in commercial organizations now, but take it as it is. Now people will not store in magnetic tape or cartridges. We have very specialized storing mechanisms, like you use external hard disks or very specialized pen drives, or now you have this concept of cloud storage. So but it's part of the learning process. Documentation and program library, whatever system has been developed, the document of it, keeping it safe, because if changes have to be made, you will require the original document. Help desk, like if I find some problem, I call the, in fact, help desk technical support is the name of the service provider person who is always available with me. So technical support. Capacity planning, yes, that is when institute created LVC. So they must have talked to the developers that how many. So when that idea of YouTube live came, so when these classes are being put live on YouTube, then it became virtually like unrestricted, because I did ask you how many inter students. So many of you said 2.5 lakhs, 4 lakhs. So I exactly don't know the number, but my reading is also that something around 2 lakh students would be there for CA Inter. And say 50% if we average out, so 50% will be appearing for this paper. So capacity planning, so the plan must have been there that suppose it's a YouTube live, then no restriction, 1 lakh students can watch online like that. So that is how things have been done. And now because technical support is outsourced, so how to manage that? That is how you look at it. So we talked about operations management. Next, quality assurance management. Simple. First line, I'll read. Information system produced by information systems function achieve the defined quality goals. So the purpose intent that you had when you planned management control, that purpose is achieved is quality assurance. So if institute planned that we are going to have 1 lakh students live, 2 classes, that is achieved. If institute planned that we want to have a interactive through a separate chat platform, that is achieved. If institute planned that is students must get virtually free coaching classes, that is achieved. So whether your quality, and of course quality of the class has to be a parameter. If that is there, all objectives are achieved. So whether what was required, that goal is achieved, quality is achieved. So you need parametrics to analyze it. इसका आकलन करने का तरीका चाहिए कि जो हम बनाना चाहते थे वैसा ही बना है या नहीं बना है. That is. So that is quality assurance management control. That takes care of. Now what Institute has done in your module, they have given a very good flow chart of summarizing all this on one page. So you please take the printout of the page, and I'll personally prefer that you have lot of things pasted on the walls. हमारे पढ़ने वाले बच्चों के दीवारों पे काफी चीजें पेस्टेड होती है, कुछ पढ़ने की चीजें भी लगा दे, उसमें से एक आप लगा सकते हैं, तो इसको आप रोज पढ़ते रहेंगे तो याद हो जाएगा ऐसा. Okay, so let us go ahead. The next one, application control framework. So I'll just go to the slide for the brief of this, and then we'll come back to module. So we have talked about the management control framework. Now we have gone through just a fast revision. Top management controls include planning, organizing, leading, controlling, system development, problem definition, analysis of existing system, design, hardware, software acquisition, acceptance testing, conversion, operation, and maintenance. That we did from the module itself. Data resource management included definition of data, existence, backup controls, access control, update controls, concurrency, and quality controls. Security management, disaster recovery plan, and insurance. 4 plans part of disaster recovery: emergency plan, backup plan, recovery plan, and test plan. Okay, you answer this question. It's a good question to answer. 4 parts of disaster recovery plan: emergency plan, backup plan, test plan, and recovery plan. 4. Of the 4, there are 2 plans which are already implemented before disaster. Please, 4 disaster is like earthquake, heavy rainfall, heavy snowfall, big forest fire. These are natural disasters. Okay. Now, because disasters can hit you hard, you require a DRP, because when disaster is there, then you must be able to work. So like attack on World Trade Center, this war in Europe, this is also a disaster. So you require plan to go beyond it. So 4 plans: emergency, backup, test, and recovery. Of the 4 plans, 2 plans you have to answer in the chat box, which are already operational before the disaster is there. 2 plans which are operational before disaster is there. Please answer. It's a prize winning question. Okay. Then we talked about operations management control, including computer operations, network operation, data preparation, entry, file library. So I told in file library that now you don't store on magnetic tape. There are very specialized storage devices available. The concept is true. Documentation and program library, help desk technical support, capacity planning, performance monitoring, and management of outsourced operation. If I'm reading the last, I love joining all the subjects. So if I'm reading the last line, management of outsourced operation, those of you who are reading audit, studying audit, which auditing standard I'm referring to when I read the last line? Management of outsourced operation. Which auditing standard I'm reading? Okay. Then quality assurance and management, what we desired, that has been achieved. Coming to application control. Now see, within the application control, there are 2 basic parameters, slabs have been created. Controls at the accounting audit trail level and operations audit trail level, and the types of controls. So let us take one by one. So you have this boundary control, input control, communication control, processing control, database, output control. We'll take the details from the module. So now let us go to the module. By the time you have answered the question, I am reading the answer. Good. So Akash Neil gets a chocolate. Backup plan and test plan are correct. Hiral, no, the chocolate doesn't go. It goes to Akash Neil. Then yes, and Himanshu. Test plan and backup plan. So these plans are actually in operation before disasters. Yes. So 2 chocolates are there. Each chocolate is to be shared. Had this been physical class, physical chocolates would have been shared. E-class, e-chocolates, like that. Okay, good. So now let us go to the module. Yeah, Prabhas has also said correctly. The update has just come. That 15-second time gap. I want this to go. And Sonika. But there are some reasons that institute has, because you have to log in and put a lot of data. Okay. Now application control framework. So this framework is for applications. Tally is application. Word is application. Everything is that we see, visualize, are all that we work on are all applications. None of us is working on any operating system. Those are systems. We are working on applications. Okay. So let us read few lines from this para, and then we'll go to the components of this. What is the purpose? So Himanshu has a good question. Application system control involve ensuring that individual application systems safeguard assets, maintain data integrity, ensure complete, accurate, authorized data is there, achieve effectiveness, efficiency from the perspective of user of the system from within and outside. So the core idea is that whatever applications are being used, they are used to their best possible way, controlled manner, and the purpose, objective, intent from the application is all well achieved. That is. Audit trail word has come. Please understand, we are going to put 1 minute to this topic. Carry this topic. This has become very, very, very important. Audit trail is a keyword. I'll tell you why. This has become the most critical topic because in March 2021. Last week of March 2021, please listen to this. Last week of March 2021, there was a circular issued by Ministry of Corporate Affairs asking all companies to use an accounting software which has an audit trail which cannot be tampered with. Now, there are a lot of parameters to this. First, audit trail. So I have told you what is an audit trail. That ensures that the object to source is linked. The whole link of the transaction is there. That is an audit trail. What the circular said, that every company using a software need to have an audit trail. Say, for example, Tally. Do they have an audit trail? They have an audit trail. How has to be the nature of audit trail? The nature of audit trail is to be such nature that audit trail cannot be modified. That means if someone has rectified, someone has modified a voucher, it must be written in the audit trail that this person has modified the voucher, and that audit trail must not be editable. That means if authorities wants to see what modifications have been done, they must be able to see that audit trail. So please understand, this audit trail word has become very, very, very important. Carry it is appearing in EIS, it is part of audit, and now it is part of your law also. Carry this word, very, very, very important. Now let us read about the word audit trail. Okay, after I'll complete this application control, we'll see the question, answer to the question, which auditing standard is triggered when I talk of outsourcing companies. Great. Now, an audit trail should record all material events that occur within the boundary of subsystem to analyze, search for errors and irregularities. In fact, whenever an error occurs and that error is brought to the notice of system admin or the maintenance person, the first thing the maintenance person or system admin does, log into the system and see the audit trail of the system that you are working from, so that they can identify why an error has occurred and what error has occurred, like that. So two types of audit trail should exist in subsystem, which are as follows. First is accounting audit trail, to maintain record of events within the subsystem, accounting records. Operations audit trail, to maintain a record of attempted or actual resource consumption associated with an event in subsystems. So how it has been used is operation, and who is using is accounting. Now, so we'll be taking one by one details. Boundary controls. So first I'll be defining, okay, boundary controls. What I mean by boundary controls. So boundary controls are like boundaries. Suppose this table is my system. So boundary control means which allows entry to this table, like Tally login password. That is boundary control. Boundary means which will allow entry into system. How you implement? Cryptography. That is encryption, decryption of data. So you create data in cryptographic format, that is cryptographic control. Cipher text, coded text, that is cryptographic control. So when you read a cipher text, it is meaningless to others. It will have some meaning to the user. Then these are cryptographic techniques. Just remember the name: transposition, substitution, product ciphers. Okay, just remember the names. Suppose I want to say ICAI. Okay, I want to say ICAI, but what I'll be doing, I'll not be saying ICAI, I'll be using the next alphabet. So if I want to say ICAI and I want to convert that by using the next alphabet. So I will be J, C will be D, A will be B, I will be J again. So it will become J, D, B, J. That is, I have changed the format. So I have created a cipher text. That is. So first was cryptographic controls. Applications, you're saving. Then access control. Who is accessing the system? So when an individual accesses a system, you require I'm only read the headers. Rest you know. Identification. Who is there? Me. Authentication. How I have proved who I am. And once I've proved myself, authorization, what I can do. So I am identified, I am authenticated, and I am authorized. So they are part of the same chain of events. If you remember like that, you'll always remember it. So access control includes identification, authentication, authorization. Identification, who I am. Authorization, the way I prove my identity. And authorization is what I can do in system. Then that can be through personal identification numbers or PIN numbers. Then there's this whole cycle of PIN number given. Just remember that cycle. We all know PIN number at the back of your credit card, debit card. You have PIN number. You have PIN number to do this transaction through M-banking. So those are all PIN secured numbers. It has a life cycle. Quite detail is given. Please remember it. Yes, digital signatures. This is very, very important topic. Again, very, very, very important. These topics, which I say very, very, very important, are those which appear in more than one chapter of the module, more than one subject of CA Inter, and part of your CA life per se. So digital signatures you are reading in Inter, you'll read in final, and when you become chartered accountants, you'll be actually using them. And in fact, those who are going for articleship, in your office, you're already using digital signatures. Okay. So what they do, establish the authenticity of the person and preventing denial of message. See, this is very important. It has to be legal transaction. If I sign a document digitally and send to you, so whatever document I have signed digitally and I have sent to you, I cannot deny signing the document. Deniability is not going to be. That is denial of service. In plastic cards, that is. So this are core boundary controls, and within that, audit trail controls, whether these boundary controls have worked properly or not. This table I want you to read. Accounting audit trail and operation audit trail. Okay. For one, I am reading. Rest I'll request you to go through. All material application oriented events occurring within boundary subsystem should be recorded. That may include data related to identity of the would-be user, authentication information supplied, resource requested provided, resource denied, in time, out time. That is accounting. Operations, what has been done. Log on time, log out time, and resource consumed. What has been done. Okay. Now, because we are going to next topic, let me see. Yes. So the right answer is SA402. Prabhas. Yes. Client using service organizations. External confirmation is not there. Okay. The IT Act section 3 and 3A are relevant for digital signatures and electronic signatures. 6 is different parameter, 3 and 3A. Okay. So we are king subject like that. Next is input controls. Now, GIGO is a word, garbage in, garbage out. We are talking of system. So quality of input is going to determine the quality of output. And in fact, that is relevant for all. Our exam results are good reflection of what input we gave. That is output. So GIGO always exists. Now in system, that becomes more critical because once data has been input in system, it is going to generate the output based on the quality of input. So lot of emphasis is done on input control. That is very, very, very important. So this application control per se is a huge topic. One heading we can discuss for 8 hours non-stop. Boundary control 8 hours, input 8 hours. That intensity it carries. Okay. The core is to ensure authorization, reasonableness, completeness, accuracy, integrity of data. That is input control. This includes data coding controls. So, okay. I would prefer this to be shown on Word. Okay. So I'll just bring my Word document. We are looking at coding errors. So how they appear like. So suppose my number is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I can do many mistakes while entering data. So if I enter 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 as, this is called as error of transposition. I have changed the digits location. Okay. I can enter this number as 82345. This is called as error of substitution. I've replaced a number. I can enter this number as, this is truncation. I've reduced. I can enter the number as, this is addition. Okay. The bottom three are part of same category of mistake, this which I call as transcription. Transposition and transcription. Within transcription, I can have substitution, truncation, or addition. Transposition is replacing the digits. So I can have single transposition. So this is single. Where concurrent digits, I can have multiple. I must be not a good data entry operator if I do this error. I can do another error. It's a disaster. So these are basically transposition errors. Okay. So transcription and transposition. A question to you. How mathematically you can identify that the error is transcription or transposition? How? By maths, you can identify whether the error is transcription or transposition. By using maths, you have to give me that link. Okay. So that is how transcription and transposition go. Now, see, you have talked of error. This is a control. If the word is there, I'll highlight that. Please remember the word. There is something called as check N11. Please note that word. Check N11. It's a coding mechanism to identify this transcription and transposition errors. Check N11 module. It is in Excel. When you go to Excel, you'll find that. It is one way of identifying transcription error or transposition error. Okay. Not here, but just keep a tag of it. Because you are reading error, you must also read solution. So remember it. In examination, if question comes, right, check N11 module is a way of identifying data coding errors. Okay. Then this is important. Batch controls. Now, what exactly is a batch? See, what is happening that you create a transaction, put it in system, it is immediately processed. That is called as online real-time process. In batch, you accumulate transaction and process. That is called as batch process. Like, for example, bank NEFT, bank RTGS are done in batches. So they accumulate 2 hours NEFT and process that together. So that is a batch process. So how you remember batch process? Batch process is a way where transactions entered in system are not immediately processed. There is a time lag between entering of the transaction and processing of the transaction. Time lag can be 10 minutes, 10 hours, 10 days, that is irrelevant. The key issue is what? There is a time lag. You create a batch and then process. So like NEFT, it's batch process. Now, when you do batch process, there is a different aspect that comes. What happens? When you are doing online processing, any error comes there only. But when you're doing batch process, there is a time gap between entering of the transaction and processing of the transaction. So because there is a time gap, you require additional controls to keep a track of that. Those controls are these three: financial totals, hash totals, record count. Financial total is total of the, say, suppose 2000 NEFTs are to be done in 2 hours. Financial total will be the value of NEFT. Hash total will be value of any other numeric field than the value. Say, for example, NEFT is to be done, so there is a related check number. So as a hash total, what you can create, you can total the check number and then process. That becomes hash total. And document record 2000 transactions. So that is batch controls. Okay. So it's a very, very big discussion. All these controls, they have case laws to do, but then I'm sharing the core definitions with you. Okay. Then validation of data input control. So let you answer this question, then I'll come back on this. irctc.co.in, irctc.co.in, when you book your railway reservation ticket, so there's an age field. There's an age field. I want you to tell me what is the minimum age you can put there and what is the maximum age you can put there. Minimum and max in irctc.co.in. Once you answer, we'll come to field check again. Minimum and max age in the irctc.co.in. Okay. Then record check. I'll come to field check later on once I get your answer on that age parameter. Record check. This includes reasonableness check, maximum value, like that. Valid sign, positive, negative. Sequence, missing, that is. Batch check, we talked about above. Same transactions have to be accumulated. Sequence, they have to be accumulated. Batch check. And file check, the version check, whether the correct version of the file is used or not. That is file check. Then audit trail controls. This maintains chronology of the event. So I'll request you to go through audit trail and operations audit trail for this one. Now we are going to next control. Let us see your answers. Good. So Sonika has tried to answer it very correctly, that the sum of the digits in transposition will be same. A good way of, I learned that. My definition was different, I'll tell you. Okay. So my definition was, see what happens when you, suppose the number is 123 and you add feed 213. So the difference between 213 and 123 is always divisible by 9. So in transposition, whatever difference comes, that is divisible by 9. Why I want to share this? When we did our articleship, I started my articleship in 93. That is exactly 30 years back. So when I started it, we had trial balance which were manually made. So the client will bring the ledgers and trial balance made by their accountant manually. So we had one of the first jobs, we were supposed to take the balance from the ledgers physically to tally the trial balance, whether the debit and credit are tallying. So many times the trial balance would show difference. So if that difference was divisible by 9, we used to conclude that there is a transposition error while copying the trial balance manually. So that is where we learned it. But Sonika has tried to give a good answer. Okay. Now, you have answered this minimum and maximum age. Okay, so let me bring that point. First, it's what's a learning question. First, in the age, you can only put numeric in that field. So first check is picture check. You cannot put alphabets. This is picture check. So field check includes picture check. You can only put alphabet, numeric, age. Then limit. So like the child in heart must never die. अपने जो दिल में बच्चा है वो हमेशा जीवित रहना चाहिए. तो ऐसा ही बच्चा जो मेरे पास है, मेरे तो वो बच्चा एक दिन जागरूक हो गया, it awake. So what I did, by trial and error, I found the minimum and maximum value in that field. The minimum value is 5 and maximum is 125. That means there is a limit from 5 to 125. Yeah, Hitesh, minimum is 5 because there you get a half ticket. Below 5, kids are free. Okay, but when I learned that, so it raises a question that means in our Indian Railway, a person who has age beyond 125 will not be able to travel, but then that person is already blessed by God, so she doesn't need to travel. Okay, so that is field check. So you have all tried good. 5 was minimum. Many of you have said correctly. And yeah, Himanshu said, Himanshu is saying, sir, abhi check kiya maine. See, this is the online thing. In online, there is one more system that is already on. So you can always check there. Good, Himanshu. Thank you. Okay. Now, coming to communication controls. Communication, sending data, sending information. So need to have control on that, which includes physical component controls that shall have characteristics that make them reliable. So you need to ensure that whatever communication devices you are using, they are properly kept, physically secured. Then there must not be any line error control. These are, to an extent, the component definitions are slightly technical. Make easy way of remembering them. Line error controls need to have a control on that. Flow control, this is important. Flow control will be used, therefore, to ensure that the data that is flowing is not lost. It is secured. Link control between two systems. Topological control, the way you create topology. So ensuring that everything works properly. Channel access control. So how do you read that? Let me read. Two different nodes in network can compete to use communication channels simultaneously. So who is going to, there's only one-way traffic, which car or which message is going to go first. So you define that, who is going to go first. Then control over subversive attack, that is control against hacking, virus attack, ransomware attack. I did share that if you need to put all things properly together, if you put half-hearted system, the risk is very, very high. Internet working controls. If you are working on internet, need to ensure that all systems are properly secured. Audit trail control, this one I'll read. So accounting audit trail includes collection of data like unique identification for source, destination, each node that it traverses. So the path it takes. I'm just trying to brief you. See what happens when you send messages on internet. So let me draw it through a chain of events. Suppose this is the sender. Okay, this is the sender and this blue is receiver. So the path can be, it can directly go from sender to receiver, or yellow is an intermediary path. So message from blue to yellow, yellow to the next blue. And see, technology in internet, this is the simplest way I could explain. It's a very complicated process. Messages can when you used to go to school on your cycle, I don't know whether you used to go to school on cycle, on your bike, motorbike, motorcycle, scooters, whatever is the case may be. When we used to go to school, the origination, we are going by bike, say for example, or a scooter. So the origination is home, destination is school, path is fixed. We'll always, while going, the path is fixed. But when you are returning from school, when we used to return from our school and we used to go by bicycle from class 9th onwards, I remember every day we will take a different path. See, the source is, while you return from school, source is school, destination is home. but the path you take was phenomenal. Every day there was a new path. कोई नई गली में से जाएगा, पुरानी में से नहीं जाता है. He'll always take a new lane, and there could be reasons for doing it. That is how messages travel in network. Messages ऐसे travel करते हैं, किधर से भी जिधर जगह मिलेगी उधर चला जाएगा. Wherever there is space, it goes. So that tracking is important. So it traverses, every time it traverses a new path like that. Okay. So that is accounting audit trail and operations audit trail. This includes details like number of messages that have traversed each link and each node. किस जगह से कितने मैसेज गए हैं, उसका ट्रैकिंग करना. Why? Because authorities keep a track of it, because they will come to know whether there is a resource that is subject to some risk. That is why. Okay. Processing control. So input, communication, process. So process means when the raw material is being converted into finished goods, when the data is being converted into information, information will be used for decision making. There you require processing controls. So it requires control on error correction detections. Malfunctioning may be there. There has to be a way of keeping a track of it. Then, yes, this multitasking, multiprocessing are words we have been reading. So it is important to determine the number, nature of execution states which processor can work. This helps auditor to determine which user processor will be able to carry out unauthorized activities. So it's on a technical aspect, but just remember that when you are doing multiple tasks, multiple things on a single processor, so concern is that if there is a processor part that is not working or working in an undesired manner, that means some error is there. Timing control to ensure system works properly. Component replication. Replication is repetition. In some cases, processor failure can result in significant loss. So you have redundant additional processors to ensure that loss is not there. Then real memory controls, virtual memory controls, these are part of two memories. Real memory is the memory size that you see. Virtual memory is that is not real. So just for the sake of it, suppose the laptop I am using, the RAM, random access memory of my laptop is 8 GB. So when I say real memory size of my RAM, it will be 8 GB or slightly less. But suppose I ask you, okay, let you answer. Once you answer, I'll define that. The RAM of my laptop is 8 GB. So real memory size of my RAM is 8 GB or slightly less. What is the virtual memory size of my laptop? Answer this question. So once you answer, I'll come to the definition. Then application software controls, we have talked about this. Whatever is being used, you need to keep control on that. Audit trail control, same, accounting and performance audit trail, accounting and operational audit trail. This you have to read and remember. Database, same. Access control, who can access? Integrity, no one must be able to make unauthorized amendment. Okay. Application software control, when application uses, see, how does it look like? So you have hardware. On the hardware, you have operating system. On the operating system, you lay down. So how does it look like? Hardware is there. Then you layer with operating system. On that layer, you place your application program. This application program accesses database management system. What database management system has? It has data. So it accesses that data, converts it into information. That becomes your output. Now, when you say application software control relating to database, because this application is going to access database, so it must not be able to hit the integrity usage of database. That is exactly what is being talked about. And this is important, concurrency. Because database is a shared resource. Shared means hundreds and thousands of people use it. So there is a chance that the same resource is being accessed by more than one person. So how to resolve this conflict? That control is concurrency control. Cryptography, we have talked about. Then file handling control. These controls are used to prevent accidental destruction of data. So, in fact, when you delete a file, when you give a command to delete a file on system, system gives you error message. Are you sure? It prompts you. Maybe you are making a mistake. Maybe you have pressed the delete button in hurry. So it tells you, do you want to do? If you say yes, then do it. That is file handling controls. So I'm because we going to the next topic. So I'm waiting for your answers. I've just refreshed the chat. Yeah. So let me see. Yes. So I think the e-chocolate has to go to Hiral. So she has got 2. Virtual memory is infinite. Okay. So it is virtual. It is not real. So there is a concept of overlaying. So on the same RAM, when you get a message, RAM is full, your system goes slow. Still the RAM is full. The virtual memory is always there because what the OS does, when you, like I'm processing Excel, so it will bring Excel to RAM. I process Word, so it will place Word on Excel, PowerPoint on Word, PDF on Word. So that is how it works. So that is called as overlaying. So virtual memory is infinite. So you need to have controls that each memory location is properly used. So real memory control and virtual memory. And then audit trail controls that I want you to read. Last for today's output control. And then we'll have the MCQs. Okay. Okay. So Prabhas, we have answered virtual memory is infinite. Okay. Output controls. Output. So the whole process is done. Now looking at the output. Inference conclusions. These are used to prevent compromise of statistical database from which users can draw aggregate statistics rather than values of individual data items. These are restriction controls which limit the set of responses provided to user. So this is phenomenal. Please understand, inference control companies, large companies with large database have to put phenomenal restrictions on database access so that inference control is not there. Let me do with a very simple example. Okay. I am an employee of HR department. Okay, let me bring my Word document. It's a very good case to learn inference. It adds understanding. Same Word document. Okay. What we are learning, the concept of inference control. Okay. I am an employee of HR department. Okay. Now, say I am working in a company A Limited, HR department of A Limited. There is a HR manager of B Limited. He comes to me and asks, so B Limited person wants me, employee of A, in HR department to give me salary, to give details of the salary of the HOD of A Limited. Because A is the HOD of A Limited, HR department is very good person and B wants to hire. So to make a proposal, B must know the salary of HOD of HR department of A to make a proposal. Now there is some bad incentive to doing it. So I am employee. I go to the system of A, query. I write a query. Salary of HOD. I write a query. I get a response. What is the response? No access allowed because I don't have access. But then I am intelligent. See what I do. Salary of all the employees, easy. It is there. It's available in accounts, publicly available for listed companies, 100 crores. Great. Now, this HOD of A Limited, HOD of HR department of A Limited, is the only employee in the company whose age is more than 60 years. HOD of HR department is the only one employee of the company whose age is more than 60 years. You know what I do? Less than equal, I write another query that give me detail of the salary of all employees of the company whose age is less than or equal to 60 years. System gives me answer 99 crores. You know what I get? We all know. I get the salary of HOD 1 crore per annum. This is called as inference control. Please understand the intensity. Inference to draw conclusions based on queries that I can generate in system. I think we used to play a game. What is the game that you call this? Guess me, guess who, like that. That is inference control. So you need to secure database against this risk. Very intensive topic, huh? I told you. So you need to create restrictions. I told you this one, each header is a 8-hour discussion. Okay. And each has good examples to share like that. Okay. Then batch output production distribution controls that relate to the batches that we talked about. So control on those batches. Batch report design, how you design your batch reports. Again, like batch control on distribution, like online control on distribution, same way, same parameters. And audit trails. Next topic is for the next day of the lecture. Now we have time for the MCQ. So I'm bringing the MCQ. Just give me a second. By the time you can ask any query. So the case is there, and then we'll have question answer. So company is under process of implementing a new system to automate its existing customer order collecting system. The developer is creating a mobile app for the same. Company plans to take help of consultants at various stages of development. So it's a simple question. Company is implementing a new system. Now the questions. First question. So I'll wait for your answers. Question first. Core management function to ensure everything goes as per plan and in a controlled manner includes all except. You just read, huh? So first you are answering. Let me refresh the chat. Great. So Hitesh is correct. Prabhas, Hiral, and Raghavan. 1D. Let us see. Problem definition. Good. Question 2. Company has hired a consultant to guide them on planning, designing, coding, and testing aspects of the application. This consultant is providing services to help company achieve. This was a giveaway. Yes, Shraddha, D is correct. First question. Now question 2. So when you are answering question 2, write 2 A, B, C, D so that no confusion is there. Ah. So multiple answers to A, to B, programming management. Good. That is to C. That is by Akash Nil. Very good. And Sonika. So I think they are both correct. Let us check it. C, program management control. It is correct. Question 3. So I'm refreshing the chat. An issue has come regarding access to data. If it is accessed by more than one person at the same time, this can be resolved through implementation of. So we have one answer, so I'll have to scroll it down. Yes, A is the correct answer. Good. So Sonika had the correct answer. I'll read other names as they come. Question. So we have answers for fourth. Let me scroll it. Yeah. So B is the correct answer. Harshita said correctly. Sonika correctly. Hitesh is correct. Then C, 4C, acceptance testing. So 4C, Hiral is correct. Sorry, let me do it again. No, C is the correct answer. Okay, so there is a correction. C, unit whole acceptance testing. C is the correct answer. So those who have said C is correct. Okay, C is correct. So let me make the correction here itself. C is the correct answer. Okay, nice. Okay, Hiral, I'll tell. Spooling file, I'll tell. Okay. Let me complete this, I'll tell. You can always ask questions because they were slightly more technical terms, so you can ask. Yeah, Hiral, I'll explain spooling. Don't worry. So this was a giveaway. Sonika has put the correct answer. I think Sonika is keeping things ready, putting it immediately. Security guard. Now coming to this spooling file control. See, whenever you give a print command, so what? Suppose there are 1000 pages to be printed. So when you give a print command, a spool file, a print file for that is created. Now what happens? The processor is printed, the spool file has to be saved. So where it will be saved? So it is saved. There was a question at the start of the day today, cache memory. So cache memory is that which manages the speed of processor to the memory registers. So this print file is sent there in cache. Now, if my cache memory is unsecured and this print file has some critical data, someone can access it. So when you say spooling file control, means the print spool file needs to be secured. So because it has output, it has decision making output. No one must be able to access it. That is the point. Okay. So that is for today. Any question? Spooling? I think I've answered all the questions. We had double century of chat today. Great. So 5B, all of you have answered correctly. 5B. Let me see more updates. Yeah. So 5B is correct. Okay. Any query from today's session? I'll go to the PPT. That is for today. Yeah. So any query you have? So today we talked about information system control, the types, environmental, logical, physical, and then audit function controls on management aspect and application aspect. That was today's lecture. The last lecture is, I think, for this chapter is on May 2, I think. Yeah. So we'll have the balance part. Ask any queries. I have kept 2 minutes today specifically for queries only. Any query you have, please ask. Okay. So I think we'll just wait for 30 more seconds and then we'll close the session. No queries are coming. So that is good. We are closing the session. Thank you. Yes.